Hello, my beautiful Capricorn friends. I hope you are doing so well. Happy Capricorn season. And what a Capricorn season it is. I don't know how you all are feeling. I know it has been, I feel like since I started coming here to YouTube, which was 5 years ago now, the Capricorn family has been going through an epic journey this whole time. And I think this year in some ways was no exception. And yet in other ways, I feel like it was such a different year than we've had for the Capricorn family for a long time. And this Capricorn season is just so interesting. You know, we have Venus doing her retrograde in your sign. Of course, the sun's moving through until the 19th, and the new moon is in your sign. Mars is moving into your sign later in the month. And Mercury retrograde begins in Aquarius, but on the 25th finishes its retrograde in your sign. So there's just a lot of energy moving through Capricorn this month, which I know maybe that seems a little intimidating, but what's so interesting when you have a whole bunch of energy like this congregating in your sign, that they're kind of all coming together here to do a big renewal process with you, and one that is very potent and powerful and beautiful. And it really is rebirth, including the Venus retrograde. Venus, when she moves through a retrograde, is going through a rebirth process where she meets the sun and shifts from, I believe it's the evening star, into the morning star. And in that process begins her new cycle. And she's on an 8-year cycle where every 8 years she comes back to your sign. So it's kind of a fun thing too, if you're wanting to kind of look at your own progression as a Capricorn, you can look at Venus's retrogrades in your sign every 8 years or so and see what that's brought for you. But it definitely doesn't necessarily mean this is going to be a time where you have to dismantle yourself or lose yourself. What I would say though, with a season that has both a Venus and a Mercury retrograde in your sign, and with all this energy congregating there, and that new moon kind of being a time of reflection, that this is a time where you're getting your sea legs, or you're getting your land legs, whatever you want to say, with who you are now. Because what I do feel like is, okay, we've just had a year where we no longer have Saturn in your sign, we no longer have Jupiter in your sign, and the South Node hasn't been in your sign for a year and a half. And so we've eased off all of that pressure that was on you with these really intense transits. And with that has come a change in who you are. And you may look in the mirror and yes, you can see like, yes, it's the same person, but it's not the same person. I'm not the same person. Like, and the way that I perceive and walk through the world, the way that I look at like a color or a different neighborhood that I've driven through a million times, like everything looks a little different. Everything feels a little different. And what I would say about this Capricorn season and this Venus retrograde and everything that leads us through the month of January is that this is a time for you to take a breath and get a little bit more familiarized with the self that you are now, and to get a little more comfortable with it, because it's not about you mastering it so that you can like master 2022. Because like I've been saying this for every sign, but genuinely, we got to put that stuff down. No more of this mastering the year, conquering the year, these really aggressive themes. They're boring, first of all. So let's start there. Second of all, it's a pointless task because that's just not how it works, right? And we all know this. So it's not about mastering who you are now, because you're going to be learning about a lot about who you are and how you move through the world as you are now. And the question that came for me, oh, a card already wants to come out. Seven of Swords. I'm laughing because this card, it's like almost a running joke for me whenever this card pops up. I'll tell you why in a moment. But the question that I had for this Capricorn season, this Venus retrograde, all of it was, can you approach this newest version of yourself with curiosity rather than judgment? A lot of times we want to keep ourselves safe, and change can mean that, you know, we don't know all the elements. And so we'll judge the parts of ourselves. Oh, I've aged here, or I don't look the same as I did 5 years ago, or I don't have the same interest in this creative project that I had. And why is that? You know, we can start to just judge all those things. And what I want you to do this month is, rather than judge, get so curious, because this newest version of you has so much to show you. It's going to be lighting up so many new parts of your life Page of Wands. And it's exciting, and it's something that we can access so much more of when we're not busy like judging and comparing ourselves to who we've been in the past. That's a painful thing to do. It doesn't really bring too many rewards, though I will say sometimes we can also look at how we've grown and realize, wow, I've accomplished and created and learned so much, and the way I approach my life now is deeper than ever. We can definitely do that, but it's easy to judge ourselves negatively in our growth process. Four of Pentacles. Okay, a little nervousness maybe in moving forward on some of these things, but that's okay. There's one other transit that I haven't even gotten to because this is January for you. It is just chock full. I honestly, when I sit down to do these readings, I'm like, I don't know how I'm going to cover all of this stuff. So I'm trying to focus where it makes the most sense. But the North Node of the Moon is changing into Taurus this month, which is going to be beautiful for Capricorns, right? It's going to activate your heart chakra, creative. The next year and a half is going to be a very creative, heart-centered time for you with the North Node in Taurus. Gorgeous energy for you. And it really does change the emphasis of things quite a bit as we move the nodes into another sign. And to two other signs, and I'm really excited to see what that brings. And the Sun. Okay, I'm going to pull one final card from my my Animal Totem Tarot to add to this discussion. And am I surprised that Capricorn has a nuanced set of messages coming in? No. No, I am not surprised, because that is Capricorn for you. It is just, y'all have a lot of depth going on underneath that focused surface. Four of Wands. I love this card. In this deck specifically, it's the bowerbird, and the bowerbird is this bird. The males build a nest, like this beautiful bowered nest, to attract their mate. And whoever builds the best, most beautiful nest is the one who gets the mate. And I just love that. But we'll come back to Four of Wands in a moment. Let's talk about these cards. Okay. So this is a month of rebirth, but here's what I'd also say about a characteristic of January that's really sticking out to me in all of the discussions I've been having about this month so far, which is that while it is officially a new calendar year, and that's very exciting, and I just even like the number 2022, just like all those twos just really do it for me. I like it a lot. But it's also January to me. It's like I almost want to follow the lunar new year, right? That I think happened, like the full or the new moon in February or whatever, because I'm not an expert on the lunar new year, I'll be honest. But I like the lunar new year idea a lot more, because I actually feel like this January, what's important here is to integrate and listen. And it doesn't mean that things aren't happening, because actually I find that January is very active. There's a lot of clarifying and forward motion going on in January. Just overall, there's a lot more clarity than there has been for quite a while. But there's also like this theme of like, we are also getting our feet, we're like feeling out how we feel about this year. And so it's also not about just jumping to everything right away. And that's just something I wanted to mention here with this, because okay, we have some back and forth going on with these cards, because first we have the Seven of Swords, and I have nicknamed this card the imposter syndrome card, because this is the person who feels like they can't do things right up front, right? Like they have to like hide a part of themselves. So like if you have a part of yourself that you want to express or play with or create or do something with, and you're feeling like you have to live where it's like there's this part of you hidden over here where you're doing that, and then the rest of you that people kind of know traditionally, like maybe they know you as the stable, consistent one who's always there and always providing support and always sticking to their things, right? Maybe that's like how you're known, and you're frustrated by that because there's a free-spirited part of you that's totally creative and spur of the moment and wants to try something new and move to a new town. And this Seven of Swords really represents that divide in ourselves when we feel that we have to kind of hide a part of ourselves. So if you have a part of yourself like that you felt like hasn't been allowed to take a space in your life or doesn't fit in with the way people know you in your community or in your life, this is a really great time to kind of revisit that and maybe consider that it's okay for you to share those parts of yourself. You can take baby steps, maybe with a trusted friend or in a safe space, and then slowly build from there. But the Seven of Swords definitely speaks to that. And I mean, with that comes this Page of Wands, who's a news bringer, right? He breaks the seal. And the Page of Wands brings in really positive news. And what I love about the Page of Wands is that this is beginner's energy. But that's my favorite because while it's scary and vulnerable, it's also the energy of somebody who's willing to just show up and try something new and open a new door and see what happens. And you know, that's actually a funny message I have about January. I don't know. It's so easy to look at the Venus retrograde, the Mercury retrograde, the node changes and all of this and be like, let's take it really seriously. This is a serious January and we need to make sure we're doing it really well. But I've actually found that there's this deep universal sense of humor about all of this, which is saying, don't take it so seriously. Like, it's all good. Just play, try some things out, have a conversation. And if you're not having the energy, you don't feel, take a nap, you know? And is it perfect? No. Are we going to have hard feelings that we have to process and emotions that we need to move through? Yes, of course, always, every time. No news here. That's been going on for millennia. But we can relax into our becoming and play a little bit with it. And I think that's a big message here. You know, so don't get too stressed and strained about your Capricorn season and your birthday and this renewal and Venus retrograde. Like, take what you want from it. Take what you want out of that scenario. Take what you want to learn about yourself and what you want to create out of it, and leave the rest. Period. Okay. Four of Pentacles. Speaking of taking things seriously. Okay. Four of Pentacles is a very important energy, and it's one that I think doesn't get enough love, because the Four of Pentacles, it's about the part, I mean, even look at this guy's little face. You know, I don't know if it's going to focus for you, but he looks pretty sad. He's a little stressed out, poor guy. Yeah, he's not feeling great. But here's the thing. Four in tarot is about a moment of sacred rest. Why do we have an issue with this in our society? I don't know. We could get into that topic, but I'm not going to. So Four of Pentacles is about a moment of sacred rest. The Four of Pentacles also represents the part of ourselves that feels unworthy or scared of growth, and that feels like they have to hold on to kind of what they already have in order to survive. And often this Four of Pentacles is based on a small version of ourselves when we were meaning making, when we were small children, before we really understood the nuance of what everybody around us was doing. And that part of ourselves can often get really nervous when we are relaxing into some new versions of ourselves. And so what's important about the Four of Pentacles is that we honor that part of ourselves that's maybe feeling a little scared, maybe feeling a little overwhelmed, maybe feeling a little like, I'm not sure I'm ready for all this change. We want to hear this part of ourselves out, let them know they're okay, and then move forward. And in this way, this is a sacred moment of creating new covenants with yourself. That you will always respect your energy limits, that you will always respect when you need to stay or you need to go, that you will always make the right decisions for how you want to use your energy and move through the day, and that you can trust that 100%. And that is what the Four of Pentacles does. And what that does is set us up for when we are moving and we are playing and we are trying things out, that we never have to feel that we're going to self-betray in the name of keeping up appearances. And that is one of the most crucial life lessons we can have in this life, because guess what? You're being asked to tap into the sun energy. And the sun energy, if it's one thing, is a carefree, playful energy. I mean, look at this. Look at this kid. He is not concerned about anybody's opinion of him. You know, and the sun card in so many ways, it is associated with Leo, and Leo is associated with children. It's the joy of being a child, and children, before they've kind of created some of the narratives around like keeping safe and stuff like that, just try things out and play. And so a huge theme here is you have your serious, kind of maybe more reserved side that's concerned about the growth and the change. And you have a side of yourself that is so ready to play. And you may find that you're having a conversation between these two parts of yourself as you kind of step into this new energetic circuit. And this is some of the best step of life, because when you get to a point where you're having these conversations with the part of yourself that's a little nervous, a little reticent, and the part of yourself that is ready, this is where change and amazing things happen. Now we also have the Four of Wands with the bowerbird from our totem, Animal Totem Tarot. And I just love this card. You know what it makes me think about? It makes me think about with the bowerbird creating this beautiful nest, like this gorgeous nest. He like spends all this time collecting these beautiful materials and crafting something gorgeous. It's the commitment to the craft of our lives, right? It's the commitment to feathering our nest so that we are setting up a beacon. That's a different metaphor. I'm switching metaphors. All right. So we have the nest. Okay, that's good. We're creating a beautiful beacon light to attract in the things that want to be with us and to attract in the life that we want. And so also this January with the Four of Wands is committing to creating that beautiful creation, creating those energetic spaces and even those physical spaces that help us feel that we are really honoring who we are becoming now. And in general, Capricorn, this is a gorgeous, gorgeous month. It really, really is. As long as we stop trying to master the year ahead of time, we stop trying to avoid emotions that are complex and that maybe reflect the duality of life when it comes to joy and grief. And when we take some of the seriousness off of even those hard emotions and we just let them ourselves feel them and then play. And those are the caveats of January, but I feel like those are pretty good. And I'm really looking forward to this Capricorn season and seeing what comes of it. I have just a few well wishes to send you as we open up this new year. My beautiful friends, here they are. May this year be one of curiosity and play. May it be a time of feeling you are right there in your own corner and that you can follow a path that feels right with your heart. May you boldly let yourself transform. I am so excited to see this coming year with you all as we shift into these new energetic transits that kind of relieve a little pressure from you and work really well with you. It's going to be a gorgeous time. So curious to see how it plays out. I do not have enough time to go deep on Venus and Mercury and the North Node and all of those beautiful things that are happening. I'm able to dive on those so much deeper on Patreon, which is where I can offer all that extra support. So if you're looking for a great little community, I'd love to see you there. It's an amazing space. You can also find me on my website and on my email as well as on Instagram. And there's only one real me. There's some impersonators out there. There are, and they're DMing people and being weirdos. But I will leave my handle. It's at Sarah Vrba with no extra lines, dashes, anything, but I'll leave it below so you know exactly which one is me. I'd love to see you over there and have a gorgeous beginning to 2022, a gorgeous birthday season. I love you all so much, and I will be meeting you back here on the other side of Capricorn season and seeing how it has all played out. Sending you so much love.